Hello, I'm back. Read and Draw with Peter H. Reynolds. And we are here on a Friday. And I'm in a new location. Welcome, everybody. I am Peter H. Reynolds. I'm here in my bookstore in Dedham, Massachusetts. And I'm back again. I can't believe it. I blinked. And another week went by. And it was a good week, productive week. I was working on some brand new books. I hope you guys had a wonderful week. I hope you were creative, that you made some stuff. Maybe you made a great dinner. Maybe you made some clothes, origami, a story, a drawing. I am going to be sharing today some more books. So welcome Terry, Shay, and Jamie, and Sarah. Great to have you with me again, and Paul Reynolds, my trusty assistant, who is assisting me remotely. I was actually going to read you a book today. It was going to be, it is Gaiku. This is written by Bob Broshka, and it's a book about poetry. It's a beautiful book of poetry. And unfortunately, the only version I had was the Japanese edition, so I'm looking for the English edition. But one of my friends called me this week, and it was Megan McDonald. And she said, Peter, you haven't read our books yet, our collaboration. So I said, I'm like, okay. So she said, could you read a Judy Moody or a Stink book? So there we are. Who's read Stink or Judy Moody? I have read all of them. They're hilarious and funny. I've been working with Megan now for over 20 years. In fact, we celebrated our 20th anniversary this year, which was really, really fun. Put me in a good mood. And I thought that I would share this. Well, there are a lot of books in the series. This one is Judy Moody Saves the World. And I thought that seems kind of appropriate to share. And so yeah, and Carl is here, and Bill is here, and Leslie, and Hoppy, and Sarah, and Peggy Healy Stearns. Oh my gosh, so many! It's great to see everybody again. I'm in my bookstore. If you're just joining, I have a bookstore called The Blue Bunny. It's in my hometown of Dedham, Massachusetts. It's just right next door to my studio, so I was able to come next door. Of course, nobody's in here right now, but except for me and my books. And yes, those bookcases, I actually designed the bookshop 17 years ago. And so yeah, we're among books. I love reading books. I am surrounded by my books I've created, but also collaborations like Judy Moody. So I'm going to dive in, and I'm going to read a little bit of Judy Moody Saves the World. By the way, Megan dedicated this to Richard, I'm assuming her lovely husband, and I dedicated this to all the librarians who believe a good story can save the world. Table of contents. All right, well, we've got our little who's who, which is always fun to see who the cast is. This is how it starts. This is called Chapter 1. Crazy Strips Contest. Judy Moody did not set out to save the world. She set out to win a contest. A Band-Aid contest. Judy snapped open her doctor kit. Where was that box of crazy strips? She lifted out the tiny hammer for testing reflexes. Hey, can I try that? Asked Stink. Coming into Judy's room, Stink is Judy's brother. Little bother, as she likes to say, but little brother. Stink, did you ever hear of going knock knock? Sure, said Stink. Who's there? Not the joke, said Judy. The thing a little brother is supposed to do when entering a big sister's bedroom. You mean I have to tell a joke just to come into your room, said Stink. Never mind, said Judy. Never mind who? Asked Stink. Stink, just sit on a chair and cross your legs, said Judy. I'm going to test your reflexes. Please don't do doctor stuff to me, Stink said. Come on, Stink. Judy tapped Stink's knee with a hammer. Stink's foot shot out and kicked her in the leg. Hey, Stink, said Judy. You kicked me. And here's a little illustration of that scene. Oops, there we go. Who do you think you are? A cassowary? A what-a-wary? Cassowary. I learned that in science. It's a rainforest bird that can't fly, so it kicks its enemies. I'm not a whatever, said Stink. I have really good reflexes. Judy flashed her best anaconda eyes at Stink. Forget it, she said, putting the hammer away. Stink reached into Judy's doctor kit, pulled out some crazy strips. Stink, I told you not to steal my crazy strips. Now this box is empty. As in, all gone. I told you I'd put your arm in a sling if you didn't stop stealing stuff. Stink did not want his arm in a sling again, especially when it wasn't broken. Give it, said Judy, taking the box from Stink. I want to read about the contest. Contest? Asked Stink. What do we have to do? Judy read the box. And this is the box. Here's the box of crazy strips are like, well, they're bandages. Oh, I got my fingers right on it, right? Here we go. So you can see what it looks like. So the box says, Crazy Strips 5th Annual Design Your Own Bandage Contest. Create your own crazy strip. Draw with pencils, crayons, or markers. Think of a theme. Go wild. Be outrageous. Be you. You mean we draw something to go on a crazy strip? Said Stink. What do we win? Judy read on. 13 top designs will be chosen to be printed on crazy strips. Just think, kids across the country could be wearing your creative, colorful crazy strip. Is that all? Said Stink. Rare, Judy said. I, Judy Moody, could have my own crazy strip. They have to let you win something, Stink said, grabbing the box from Judy. Just think, knees, ankles, and elbows everywhere will be wearing a Judy Moody original. Even Elizabeth Blackwell, first woman doctor, didn't have her own crazy strip. Oh, brother, said Stink. Before you get too famous, can I use some of your skinny markers? What for, said Judy. I want to draw a crazy strip too. It says here the grand prize is a pair of rollerblades. Rollerblades? Let me see that. Top winner, crazy strip of the year, rollerblades, plus your design printed on a crazy strip for 1 year. Runners up, crazy strip of the month, crazy strips, sunglasses, plus your design printed on a crazy strip for 1 month. All participants receive honorable mention certificates. Dream on, said Stink. Only one kid in the whole United States of America gets rollerblades. So look at some kids who won last year. They're 10 years old, 11. One is even 13. That's a teenager. You're only 7. 7 and a quarter, said Stink. You'd have to be Picasso for them to pick your design, she said. Who? You know, the guy who painted all those blue people. Then let me borrow your blue marker, said Stink. Judy dumped all the markers, crayons, colored pencils, and pastels she had on the floor. Stink grabbed the first blue marker and he saw and started to draw. Bats, said Stink. Blue bats. Your bats, said Judy. People don't like bats. But bats eat millions of insects, said Stink. People should like bats. I know that, said Judy. I'm just saying bats are not going to beat a teenager. Stink kept right on coloring bats. Your bats sure have big ears, said Judy. Those are Virginia big-eared bats. Oh, said Judy. Stink was a good artist, but Judy did not want him thinking he was a genius or anything. She had to dream up a good as Picasso idea, better than yucky old bats, better than a teenager. She wanted her Judy Moody crazy strip to be seen all over the USA, the world, the universe. Stink, stop squeaking, said Judy. It's the magic markers. I can't think with all that squeaking, Judy said. And it goes on. That's just a little taste of Judy Moody. Judy Moody and Stink are brother and sister, and they live in Virginia. And this book was created by Megan McDonald. It's published by Candlewick Press. So thank you, Candlewick Press, for letting me read a little excerpt from Judy Moody, Saves the World. And also Pippin Properties, thank you for arranging permission for letting me share a little snippet. I love reading to you guys. And yeah, it's fun to be able to share my bookstore. How fun is it to have a bookstore? I also have a cafe in my bookstore, and the coffee, I'm able to make myself a cup of coffee, and it's quite delicious. Let me have a little sip. Delicious. Cappuccino. I have, here's a different edition of Judy Moody. And I have it in all sorts of languages. Here's another. This is a fun cover. So yeah, surrounded by books. I love books. I hope you do too. I loved going to bookstores as a kid, and I grew up in Chelmsford, Massachusetts, and we had 5 kids in our family, mom and dad, and on the weekends we would go to the Burlington Mall, and we would go, there was a bookstore there, I think it was, I forget the name of it now, but
Laureates.
Laureates bookstore, yes. And I actually have one of the books that I bought there. This is one of the very first books that I ever bought. Well, I chipped in with my brother Paul because it was kind of expensive. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory by Roald Dahl. And this is the original, and look at this, you can see that I wrote our names. Peter and Paul Reynolds, 26 Samuel Road, Burlington Mall, June 23rd, 1970, Chelmsford, Mass. And we had to chip in because the price was $3.95. So that was almost $4, probably with tax. So we chipped in $2 a piece, and we were able to buy this book. And I love this book. I love this book. In fact, there's a lovely little section here. Would you like me to read just a little snippet? I think we have time. This is at the very end. Let's see. You probably know this story, so I'm not ruining any surprises, but the great glass elevator was now hovering high over the town. Inside the elevator stood Mr. Wonka, Grandpa Joe, and little Charlie. "How I love my chocolate factory," said Mr. Wonka, gazing down. And then he paused, turned around, and he looked at Charlie with a most serious expression on his face. "Do you love it too, Charlie?" he asked. "Oh, yes," cried Charlie. "I think it's the most wonderful place in the whole world." "I'm very pleased to hear you say that," said Mr. Wonka, looking more serious than ever. He went on staring at Charlie. "Yes," he said, "I am very pleased indeed to hear you say that. And now I shall tell you why." Mr. Wonka cocked his head to one side, and all at once the tiny, twinkling wrinkles of a smile appeared on the corners of his eyes, and he said, "You see, dear boy, I have decided to make you a present of the whole place. As soon as you're old enough to run it, the entire factory will become yours." Charlie stared at Mr. Wonka. Grandpa Joe opened his mouth to speak, but no words came out. "It's quite true," said Mr. Wonka, smiling broadly now. "I really am giving it to you. That's all right, isn't it?" "Giving it to him?" gasped Grandpa Joe. "You must be joking." "I'm not joking, sir. I'm deadly serious." But why should you want to give me your factory?" "But why should you want to give your factory to little Charlie?" "Listen," Mr. Wonka said. "I'm an old man. I'm much older than you think. I can't go on forever. I've got no children of my own, no family at all. So who is going to run the factory when I get too old to do it myself? Someone's got to keep it going. Mind you, There are thousands of clever men who would give anything for the chance to come in and take over for me, but I don't want that sort of person. I don't want a grown-up person at all. A grown-up won't listen to me. He won't learn. He will try to do things his own ways and not mine. So I have to have a child. I want a good, sensible, loving child. One whom I can tell my most precious candy-making secrets while I'm still alive. So that's why you sent out the golden tickets, cried Charlie. Exactly, said Mr. Wonka. I decided to invite 5 children to the factory, and one I liked the best at the end of the day would be the winner. But Mr. Wonka, stammered Grandpa Joe, do you really and truly mean that you're going to give this whole enormous factory to little Charlie? After all, no time for arguments, cried Mr. Wonka. We must go at once, fetch the rest of the family. There's a little bit more, but I think I'm going to stop there for now. Thank you for letting me share one of my favorite books. This inspired me when I was a little boy. I love this book so much. When I finished the book, I had this amazing sensation. It was a sensation to read it again. And I read it again and again and again. And of course, I love the illustrations too. The original illustrations are done by Joseph Schindelman, which he's got such a lovely, gentle style. It's been re-illustrated many times since, but I love Joseph Schindelman's artwork. Really lovely. Speaking of artwork, anybody in the mood to draw? Bill Norris, do you have your pencil? Do you have your markers, Bill? I know Bill's. Bill, you like to draw. If Frisco wants that 6th ticket, I know, right? I would love to. Oh, look, here's my. I always dreamed of winning that ticket to visit the factory. What do I have here? Oh, look at this. This is the. You never know what you'll find in one of my sketchbooks. This is the. Oh, these are the roughs, the layout for I Am One. This is the new book Susan Verdi and I have been working on. I am going to draw. We're talking about Judy Moody. Judy Moody. I have a little tip on how to draw Judy Moody. All right. If you know the letter U, U is the shape of her face. So we'll start with the letter U, and you can do your version. It doesn't have to look exactly like the way I do it, but here we go. The letter U. You got that? And remember, this is going to be Judy Moody, but it's Judy Moody-ish. So it could be her cousin that looks like Judy Moody. So don't worry about getting it just right. So we have the U shape. That's the shape of her face. And right below, remember, I think last week I told you about doing the letter H underneath a face. So if you put the letter H, now we have her neck and the beginning of her t-shirt. And she's got a big swoop of hair. She does not like to brush her hair, so I made her with kind of wild hair, and I thought I'll have this lock of hair that always falls in her face. So it looks like a question mark. Does that look like a question mark to you? So try doing it. All right, and then we'll start with another question mark, except this question mark, you want it to end at this point here. So, you see how I did that? And then I'm going to, this kind of looks like the letter S, doesn't it? A little S-ish shape. And we'll put a little S on this backwards S over here. And then she's got wild hair, so you can add some hair. And then she's got her signature curl, right? That's really, when you see that curl, you know it's Judy Moody, right? So if you put that little swirl on top of her hair, and then and then she needs to see, so 2 dots about halfway down, right? Not way up here, but down here. And then we're going to do a little, it looks like a smile, but it's really going to be her nose. And then we'll put another one, depending on her mood, right? If you just put a little dot, she kind of looks like maybe she's pensive, she's thinking, she's pondering, but we're going to make her in a good mood. And so I've got a little smile. And then you can in a good mood. And so I've got a little smile. And then you can add your detail. So I'm going to put some shading. By the way, our bookstore normally is very, very busy place. And of course, these days, no one's been in here. Just me making coffee in the morning sometimes. But you can visit our bookstore by going to bluebunnybooks.com. And you can also order my books by going to the.central.com. And I think Paul's going to write those the URLs down for you. And we also now have bookshop.org. It's a site that you can order any books from us. And it's a way to help support the shop and keep our doors open. We've been open for 17 years, and I hope that we'll be open for a very, very long time. So there we are. There's Judy Moody. And of course, eyebrows actually are very helpful, right? So there's Judy Moody. She looks happy. She probably could look a bit happier. What do you think? Thank you, Andy. And thank you, Jen. And thank you, Lovey and Dana. So have fun. You can try doing Judy. Maybe next time I'll draw a stink with you. But this is Judy. And remember, you can add your own details if you want. Like we could put glasses on her. That's some crazy glasses. And so that's about it for this week, guys. I really, really enjoyed sharing a little bit of my world with you, my bookstore. I love, love, love books. Make sure you support your local independent bookstore. I know a lot of them are closed these days, but you can still support them by buying gift cards, and some of them you can order online, and you can do curbside pickup. We can certainly do that for our friends who are near the Blue Bunny. Thank you all for joining me. I hope that you have an amazing creative weekend, and one day closer. And I just want to say thank you to everyone that joined us today. We had friends from Ecuador, from Pakistan, from Istanbul, from Cyprus, and Dubai, and San Diego, and Methuen. And it's so great. Definitely leave a little message. I like reading these afterwards, and you can tell me where you were tuning in from. And Kirkland, Washington, you're here too. And Carla, thank you. Yes, well, you keep my spirits up too. I really do look forward to this. I will be doing this every Friday until things get better. And who knows, maybe I'll keep doing it because it really is so much fun. So I hope that you all have a wonderful rest of the day, great weekend. And remember, if you want to hang out with me or any of my friends like Megan McDonald, all you have to do is open up one of our books, and we will be there with you. So take care.
Argentina.
And friends from Argentina have joined us, and Indonesia. Yeah, wow. It is awesome. It's so awesome to connect the dots with all of you. And do you know what? Maybe next time I will take you. Would you like a tour of the bookstore? That would be fun, wouldn't it? So I will take you on a tour because it's a nice big bookstore, and it's filled with all the books that I grew up with and I love, and all the really fine books that are coming out. And maybe I'll share some of my favorite books written by my friends with you. So again, just take time, take good care of yourself, take care of, if you're a kid, take care of your grown-ups around you. And if you're a grown-up, take care of the kids around you, but also take care of yourself, because it's a lot of work, right? It's a lot of work to keep our chin up, our spirits up. But, I think that's why reading is so important. So I'm going to sign off for now, and I just want to say thank you, Diane Darrow, and Bill Norris, and Lovey, and Jacqueline, and Arzu, and Roseanne, and Kim. Thank you, Kim. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Bill, for helping out and giving all sorts of good info. And Dean, Dean, we miss you, Dean. And Katrina,
friends in Mexico.
And Carl, and friends from Mexico, and Terry. And come tour. And Raven, yay, Raven, you always make my day when I see your name. And Elizabeth and Kendra, all my good friends. Oh, Oscar and Joya from Woodhaven, Queens. Yeah, I love that. Those are cool names, by the way. Might have to use them in my next book. And Michigan, we've got Amy and Marty and Bill Norris and Tamara. Oh, hey, Tamara. And Blake and Peggy and Catherine and Friska. And Says, is that how I pronounce your name? Says Williams, beautiful name. Raven and Jean, hey Jeannie, great to have you aboard.